What's good, homies? We are live from sunny South Central Los Angeles, California. I'm Mark, and I'm a recovering codependent narcissist. The mind is the forerunner of all things, or more simply stated, the mind leads and the body follows. This is not a new concept for humans. The Buddha has been saying the mind is everything. What you think, you become. He probably said that around 2,500 years ago. And this idea is commonplace in the new agey spiritual, neo hippie burner yoga wellness world that I find myself surrounded by. You see similar types of things on T-shirts or memes or all over the place, really. And there's a huge difference between understanding just these words and understanding them as concepts and integrating them into my life or into anybody's life. There's definitely a huge disconnect. You really have to understand these things beyond you can just read them and that's it. For me, I've had to see these things hundreds, maybe thousands of times before they finally sunk in of like what the fuck this really means. And I didn't really understand it logically. That's the difficult thing, if you have a logic, most of Western culture is based on logic and reason. So when these statements are said, like what you think you become, for most Western brains, for lack of a better term, they don't understand that because it's not logical. There's no way to prove this, objectively. But let me say that before there wasn't a way to prove this, because now there's a new field of study called epigenetics. And epigenetics is the study of cellular and physiological traits, or really, it's really the study of external and environmental factors that turn our genes on and off, and in turn define how our cells actually read these genes. It works to see the true potential of the human mind and the cells in our body. And that's pretty crazy. Eminent stem cell biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton's studies have shown that the outer layer of the cell, the membrane, is essentially an organic computer chip and works like it's basically the brain of the cell. And from 1987 to 1992, Dr. Bruce Lipton researched this idea, and found that the environment, which would operate through the cell's membrane, really controlled the behavior and the physiology of the cell. The environment would turn our genes on and off. That's so insane. My dad was a cell biologist, and I wish he was still alive to really be a part of this new wave of knowledge, because I know he would have gotten so much joy out of this understanding. I'm sure he knew about it because all he did was read journals about molecular biology, but it's something that we never discussed. But I digress. What does this mean? What does epigenetics really mean for humans? What it really means is that determinism, the belief that genes control our health or our fate, is really false. Humans actually have a tremendous amount of control over how our genetic traits are expressed. And by changing our thoughts and also altering our diets and our environment, we can change everything. We can change our genes. I mean, that's so insane. It means that we humans are not controlled by our genetic makeup. Instead, our genetic readout, which genes are turned on and which are turned off, is primarily determined by our thoughts, attitudes, and perceptions. So really the good news is that you are in control of your genes. You can alter them on a regular basis, depending on the foods you eat, the air you breathe, and the thoughts you think. It's your environment and lifestyle that dictates your tendency to express disease. And this new realization is set to make, huge waves in the future in regards to disease prevention. I mean, hopefully it makes huge waves now in the present moment, but in the future, it's going to be a huge deal, especially to like big pharma, because this is a billions of dollars a year industry. And I mean, what's going to happen when our thoughts change when it comes out and more people believe and integrate that our thoughts really control our genes and DNA, and that we don't need pills and drugs from the pharmaceutical industry to do these things. I mean, this is going to be huge shift, huge paradigm shift. I'm really looking forward to seeing humans get healthier without the need for pharmaceuticals. I mean, it's going to be really awesome. It's going to be so awesome. And if you're wondering, like, hey, is this bullshit? Hey, you think your mind and it becomes, I mean, that seems kind of crazy, right? But most of us know that it's true, because most of us are aware of something called the placebo effect. And, the placebo effect, you're taking a sugar pill and you're thinking that this sugar pill is a drug that's going to make you better, but it's not really a drug to make you better. It's nothing. It's a sugar pill. But in your mind, you heal yourself, man. Because you're taking this placebo, you think you're going to get better, and then you do. The placebo effect is a real thing. On the flip side, there's something called the nocebo effect. And this is the idea that if you are negative in your thinking or beliefs, if you think you're going to get sick or whatevs, you will. It's law of attraction shit in reverse, or law of attraction shit, but not really how you want it to work for you. So it's true, what we think we become. Just like the Buddha said 2,500 years ago. Sucka, come on, man. That dude was so smart. So tapped in. So I'm really choosing to now hack my genes and DNA by thinking more positively about myself, by choosing to love myself more and to judge myself less. And what is this going to mean as an expression of my genes and DNA? I don't know. I have some ideas that, in the future I'll be able to share with you and have more results about this thought experiment that I'm doing to, essentially biohack myself. So I'm really looking forward to being able to share some results with everybody, with the world, or just with myself, just with this computer screen. I'm really looking forward to being able to share some exciting things in the future. So again, as always, thank you for letting me share, and thank you for letting me be of service. Late.